The fjord had been silent for 3 weeks. No ships sailed across its waters. No fishermen dared to drop their nets into the black depths, because something had begun to move beneath the ice. At first it was only a rumor. A fisherman claimed he saw the sea rise like a breathing beast. Another said a shadow longer than a longship passed beneath his boat. Then the disappearances began. 3 Viking ships vanished within 2 nights. No broken wood, no floating shields, only shattered ice drifting slowly across the fjord. The elders of the village whispered an ancient name, Hrafnmar, the Black Serpent of the deep, a creature older than the northern kingdoms. A monster said to sleep beneath the ocean floor, wrapped in chains carved with ancient runes. But something had broken those chains, and now the serpent was hunting again. The warriors of the village refused to sail. Even the bravest among them would not face the cursed water, all except one. His name was Leif Ironblood. Leif was a giant among men. His shoulders were as wide as a shield wall, and his beard was thick with iron rings braided into it. Across his chest ran a deep claw scar he earned years ago fighting a mountain troll when the others refused to face the sea. He sharpened his axe in silence. "If the serpent hunts our waters," he said, "then I will hunt the serpent." That night he sailed alone. The fjord was darker than any night he had known. Clouds swallowed the stars, and the wind carried the smell of deep salt and ancient rot. Leif's boat moved slowly across the frozen water. Then the sea moved. Not waves, something far larger. The black water beneath the ice began to rise like a breathing mountain. The ice cracked apart with a thunderous roar. A massive shape rose from the depths. First came the head. A monstrous skull the size of a house burst through the frozen surface. Black scales glistened like wet stone. 2 enormous eyes opened slowly, glowing green like cursed fire beneath the sea. The serpent had awakened. Its body stretched across the fjord like a living bridge of darkness. Rows of teeth longer than spears filled its enormous mouth. The beast spoke. "Yes, another mortal comes to feed the deep." Its voice rolled across the fjord like thunder beneath the ocean. Leif did not answer. He stepped from his boat onto the broken ice. His axe gleamed beneath the pale moonlight. The serpent struck first. Its massive head crashed down like a falling mountain. Ice exploded across the fjord. Leif rolled aside just before the jaws crushed the place where he had stood. He ran across the frozen surface and struck the creature's scales with all his strength. The blade sparked, but the scales were harder than iron. The serpent laughed a deep sound like rumbling waves. "Your weapons cannot harm me." Leif stopped running. Instead, he smiled, because he had not come to cut the serpent. He had come to break the sea. With a powerful strike he drove his axe into the ice beneath the monster's coils. Cracks spread outward like lightning across the frozen fjord. The serpent shifted its enormous weight. The ice groaned beneath it. Then it shattered. The massive body of the beast plunged violently into the freezing depths. For the first time, the serpent screamed. Leif leaped forward, landing on the creature's massive back as it thrashed through the water. The serpent twisted and coiled violently, trying to throw him into the dark sea, but Leif held on. With one final roar he raised his axe high above his head. Then he drove it deep into the serpent's eye. The fjord exploded with black blood. The creature convulsed violently, its coils loosened. The water turned dark as night. Slowly the ancient serpent sank back beneath the frozen sea. Silence returned to the Black Fjord. Leif stood alone upon the shattered ice. But something strange rose from the depths. A glowing green stone floated slowly toward the surface. The serpent's heart, a relic older than the Viking gods themselves. Leif lifted the stone from the icy water. It pulsed slowly in his hand, like a living thing. But the moment he touched it, the wind changed. The water beneath the fjord began to churn again. Far below the surface, enormous shadows moved in the darkness. Leif looked out across the Black Sea. The glowing heart grew warmer in his palm. Then a distant roar echoed beneath the ice. Not one roar, many. Deep beneath the fjord floor, ancient tunnels stretched across the northern seas, and within those endless caverns, other serpents stirred, older, larger, more terrible than Hrafnmar. Leif closed his hand around the glowing heart, because he understood something the elders had forgotten. The sea serpent had not been the master of the deep. It had only been a guardian, and now that the guardian was dead, something far worse was free to rise. Leif turned toward the dark horizon. Storm clouds gathered above the sea. Lightning flashed across the northern sky, and somewhere in the endless depths below, the true king of the serpents had begun to wake.